Hi, this is Abby, and this is a video on Capricorn Rising. So, just to reiterate what the rising sign is, it was the sign that was on the horizon when you were born. Those signs change every 2 hours, so you have to know the exact time of your birth in order to calculate it, and you can do that at any site that offers a free natal chart. I use astro.com. And the rising sign psychologically represents your role in the family, how you survived growing up in the family unit, and therefore how you survive in any new situation. It's how you act, the filter through which all of your other your identity, your emotions, how everything else is filtered through. And it therefore represents a lot of your physical look, and it can represent like how your sort of the career you go into, stuff like that. But that we'll get more into that when we do like midheavens. So Capricorn rising has the what I call the Benjamin Buttons effect. It's difficult to be a child with Capricorn anything because Capricorn prefers age and experience, and you only get that through living. So Scorpio, wow, Capricorn has the effect where as you get older you end up loosening up because you become wiser and more experienced, and you actually end up more sort of innocent and fresh and carefree. The positive thing about Capricorn rising is that you age well. You'll probably look great when you're older, like the kind where your face looks like it looks younger, and like you've kept your health well, and you'll probably have like a great body with good energy. It's enviable when you're older, but when you're young, it's difficult. In the family, the Capricorn rising was the one with a lot of responsibility on their shoulders. They felt like an adult trapped in a child's body because they had the role of responsibility. They are often the oldest one, although I know a Capricorn rising who was the younger sibling, but their older sibling had a disability, so they sort of had to step up and not only kind of look out for and take care of that sibling, but also kind of be the man in the family since it was a single family household. And that is a big burden for a young person to have. This particular person had a Sagittarius sun as well, which is kind of the opposite of Capricorn because it's ruled by Jupiter. Capricorn is ruled by Saturn. Jupiter is the planet of expansion. Saturn is the planet of restriction. So it's a difficult thing for someone like that to go through. So Capricorn risings are often the oldest, like I said, because they have the most responsibility. Capricorn is an earth sign, and it's a cardinal earth sign. It's at the, if you look at an actual natal chart, it's at the top. Capricorn represents the 10th house or the midheaven, which is the angle of the career and the reputation. So Capricorn rising is very concerned with their status in the world. They're concerned with their appearance, looking like they are refined, high class. They want to wear clothes that are name brands. They want to wear handbags that are name brands. They want to be recognized as doing well in society. And it's not necessarily a superficial thing. You know, they're hard workers, and they will start from the bottom of a company, the very bottom. They have no problem working their way up. They don't need to like start at the top like maybe Leo rising's like, I am entitled to be a leader because I'm a Leo rising. Capricorn risings are like, I understand the structure, I understand the way it works. I will start at the bottom and I will work my way up with no problem, because they can be workaholics. In fact, they can come across as kind of cold and reserved because they understand that in order to put your mind to business, you have to sort of compartmentalize emotions into a different place. So Capricorn can do that. And they can also, they have kind of an interesting look about them. They have like a bony look, like knobby knees and elbows, but just sort of like thin, almost like skeletal, and not in like an ugly way. Like I actually think they look very pleasing, and they can have like little goat horns here, almost like little bumps here, like because they're ruled by the goat. So they can have that sort of look on their forehead, kind of like an Aries with the ram, but Aries have more of like a large ridge, whereas Capricorn can just have like little bumps. And the person I knew who was a Capricorn, the Sag with a Capricorn rising, he had those little bumps in his head when he was little, like little goat, and he was like devilish, so it was funny. But yeah, they sort of have that look, and they can come across as very serious. Like when they're not paying attention, they can just have this really serious look on their face, like they've got worries of the world on their shoulders, and they usually are concerned about their responsibilities. And that just continues in adulthood, except that in adulthood, you have the opportunity to come across as professional. People end up respecting you because you're growing in your journey to get to the top. The mountain goat climbs to the top and it eats what it needs to eat. I always like to think about that when I think about Capricorn anything. A goat will eat anything it needs and it will step on other goats to get to the top. And that sounds bad, but Capricorns aren't necessarily that ruthless or anything, but they will do what needs to be done. And there's something to be respected about that, at any age. It's just something to be respected, and they're business oriented. They're earth sign and they are practical. In fact, they can be not necessarily the rising, but any Capricorn, it can be like very frugal and almost cheap sometimes because they're like really tight with money, but they have a larger goal in mind. They'll spend money when it's required. Like they'll skimp on little things like food. Maybe they'll eat the cheapest food, but they'll save their money so that they can put in hardwood floors. You know what I mean? Because they want something that will raise their status in the world, raise their value. So they have their eyes on a larger prize. And they are responsible, so they're good. Like if you have one in the family, a Capricorn rising, maybe the dad, he's the typical, I work all day, but I come home, I provide for my family. Like that's my job, So that's a Capricorn rising in essence. They're very serious, but they do lighten up as they get older when they kind of get to just get all that out and get their status where it needs to be. And then they can sort of just relax and start enjoying life. And they have the best dry sense of humor. Like even from a young age, they're very ironic. So that's Capricorn rising. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments. Thanks.